Good morning and welcome to the Sunday Morning Sports Podcast. I am your host, BA, along with my other co host, Keith Engel, James J. Train Martin, and Jack Hurst without echoes.
Listen,
Yeah.
I apologize. I don't know how painful it's got to be hearing me one time, much less two or three times. So I'm glad to be back.
Hey, we missed you both those times, though, sir. So don't.
Yes, sir.
It wasn't.
Thank you.
It wasn't fun over in the show. Hey, if you just woke up this morning and catch the news, you're going to see something that happened before you went to. Well, if you went to sleep early, you wouldn't have caught it. The sought after trade of the MLB has happened. Tarek Skubal, two-time Cy Young winner, got traded from the Tigers to the Dodgers for three prospects: outfielder Zahir Hope, right-hand pitcher River Ryan, and right-hand pitcher Brady Smith. Skubal owns a 2.79 ERA, a 0.91 WHIP, and 116 strikeouts across 96 and two-thirds innings. Let me tell you something. On that note, you remember that if you ever look at the promo, if you ever look at the intro, we probably will be playing another intro like that again with the Dodgers winning the World Series, because it seems like they're always in a position to win a World Series in these last couple of years. So this is probably going to make a case for them winning this year a lot stronger. What do you guys' takes on this?
They go for it every year. You got to listen. People think that Dodgers are bad for baseball, whatever, but they go for it every year. I don't think they're bad for baseball at all. Knock the Kings down. What I'm always amazed at, two things. They haven't even played all that well. They haven't played as well as they can play, and they still got the best record in baseball. They've had injuries. They've had guys who haven't played up to potential, like Kyle Tucker, but they're still the best team in baseball. They get better now, and they keep their organization is so deep. That's why they can make these moves. They're so deep. They don't deplete their minor leagues. They just replenish them. So kudos to them for being in it to win it every year. Not just get to the playoffs, but want to win a ring.
The rich get richer, Keith. The rich get richer.
That's life. You know?
That sure is.
It's the American way. You got anything on this, Jack?
Yeah, it's interesting the way the Tigers, I don't want to say have given up on the season. They're 5.5 games out. They still have a chance to win a weak division. And if they got in the playoffs and had Skubal in the playoffs, it would obviously increase their chances of having success. But they did the most logical thing. They got three young players, virtually minor leaguers or early major leaguers, who they're going to have control over for a while, who have a lot of potential. I think in the long run, this turns out to be a good deal for both teams. I think the Dodgers are going to re-sign Skubal. They have the money. They'll make the big splash. If he pitches well for them the rest of the year, they win the World Series with Skubal, where they could continue to return as a powerhouse. Yeah, I think they're going to outbid the other teams on them, and they're going to have one of the best pitchers in baseball moving forward, not only for these couple of months, but for the next few years to come. And the Tigers get some young players. And if just one of the three players the Tigers get pan out to be really, really good, they'll have them for years to come.
You better sign before December 2nd.
Skubal for just a couple of more months. The big question is, did the Tigers at some point, and I'm not talking about this year, because by this year was too late to re-sign Skubal, because Scott Boras is his agent, and Scott Boras is a big proponent of taking his players to free agency. So if they're a year away from free agency, he's not going to sign. But at some point, was there a valid opening where the Tigers really could have signed Skubal 2-3 years ago? Because, guys, we've talked about signing players a few years away from free agency, maybe 3 years away, where you can then sign them, and sign them. I don't want to say to a team-friendly contract, but you could give them the type of money you would later give them, but just give it to them, a little in advance. Did they have that opening, the Tigers, and did they pursue it? I don't think they did.
No, that's not the Scott Harris way here. Our GM sucks, but anyway, I'm
Those aren't Boris contracts. Those aren't Boris guys that are signing those contracts so early either, Jack, to your point earlier.
exactly
Boris doesn't operate
do
that.
that. Yep, he does not. One and two.
No. If you offer a player the type of money you would later offer them, okay? Maybe they do sign, like you think of the Washington Nationals or Juan Soto. It's easy to forget. Juan Soto was a member of the Washington Nationals when they won the World Series. He was a star player. No one remembers that. They just think of him as a Yankee going to the Mets. And then he went to the Padres in between. But if a guy's so they offered him $440 million for like 15 seasons. Had they offered him at the time $640 million over that period, maybe they could have signed him. There's a reasonable chance because later on you're going to offer him the extra money anyway. But take the gamble, empty the vault early. And if a guy's like 3-4 years away from free agency, yeah, there's a decent chance, they sign.
Morning, Rick. Yeah, I think their best chances, the Tigers, of signing Skubal was last year, because that's when all the stuff started going down with him and what was going on for this year. That was their best chance. But again, management is something to be longed for here in Tigerland. So we'll see how these three prospects, like we still have Casey Mize and Gleyber Torres that are on dead contracts right now, that they could be traded by the trade deadline tomorrow, August 3rd. So we'll see what happens. Tigers are actually doing pretty well without them. They had a pretty good. They won the last two games. Of course, it was against the Oakland A's, but hey, I'll take a win.
I found it interesting they scratched Mize the other night. If they're going to trade Mize, then they're giving up in my mind. If they trade both Skubal and Mize, but they scratched them Friday night, didn't they? Or I think it was Friday.
Yeah,
night.
they scratched them for Friday night's showdown, and that's the one that they did the bullpen pitching session from, and they actually won that game too, pretty big. If they do trade, I'm with you. If they start trading people that they know they can get into the playoffs with at least, and I know your opinion on just getting in the playoffs, you want to win everything, but I mean that's their mindset, to tell you the truth. There, Keith.
If they kept Skubal, they could have been a World Series contender in the American League if they kept Skubal, I think, because they brought up their best prospect the other day too. So this team isn't giving up, I don't think, as you said.
No, they're not. They're just they're finding ways. They're finding ways, and these guys are coming up there playing really good ball too. It's not like you got a guy going out there batting 1 for 7 or something like that, and he ain't doing anything like. Will Clark is or Mike Clark. He's doing really well. So he's a prospect that they brought up. He's doing really good. So I mean, they traded Rogers away, our catcher. So I mean, we got there's promise there. I don't like the refutes from people. I had to refute the arguments that they were showing after the Tigers have given up because they gave up Skubal. No, they can still make the playoffs without Skubal. They're just going to have to get that pitching staff together. That's all. But anyway, enough of that. Other moves in Major League Baseball. The White Sox acquire right-hand pitcher Luis Costello in a trade with the Mariners for reliever Sir Anthony Dominguez, outfielder Nolan Jones, and catcher prospect Boston Smith. So that adds to Chicago White Sox rotation. They are at the top of the American League Central right now, so they're trying to do their best to keep that going. Chicago has been playing. White Sox have been playing some good baseball this year, so we'll see how long
expected. I expected to be better, but not lead the division. But I don't think Castillo's at least this year. He's not that much better than what they're already throwing out there. Castillo's been struggling and kicking it around.
I think they got him for his career 3.65 ERA with a 119 WHIP and 9.4 Ks per 9 innings. I think that's what they got. That's what they were looking forward to. I don't think they got him just for this year's problems, but they did get him for a long haul. So we'll see what happens with that one. Other notable trades was the Angels trading for the Rangers pitcher Angel Emadando. They gave up Logan O'Hoppe and right-hand relief pitcher Chase. The hell you? Okay, something like
It's not that noteworthy if you can't even remember the name, let alone read it. Okay?
Well,
Don't
I
worry
can't
about
read
it.
my writing, Jack. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. That's what it is. Boston trades starting pitcher Conley early to Washington infielder Curtis Mead. And that should, those are the most of the trades that went on during the weekend or as trade deadline starts coming around here. So, any thoughts on any of these trades?
Well, the Yankees made a move. Camilo Doval, who they got last year, relief pitcher, they traded to the Pirates for a couple of prospects, which was interesting that the Yankees were sellers, even though Doval has been a disappointment. He was really good in 2023, I think it was. He was an all-star. He just hasn't put it together, since he's come to the Yankees. But it's interesting, the Yankees, who need a little bullpen help themselves, even though statistically their bullpen has done well this season. It's interesting that the Yankees are actually sellers to the Pirates.
That's not going to be your only move, though, because they're going to bring in another reliever. Luke Weaver's coming back to New York or back to Bronx, I think.
Well, it depends. It depends because Luke Weaver's he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year, I believe.
That's okay.
And if the Yankees were so high on Luke Weaver, they would have re-signed him. He was a Yankee last year.
Well, they were high on Duval, and where's he? So
yeah, no. Luke Weaver's had a great year. He's had a great year for the Mets, and not only him, but Freddie Peralta and Clay Holmes. The Mets are going to look to sell off. And Peralta is interesting because he was a really quality pitcher for a lot of years with the Brewers, and he's just had a lousy year with the Mets this season. And if he could get back to being what he was, some team is going to luck out getting him. But if he's the same Freddie Peralta he's been this year, it's not good at all. But Clay Holmes got injured. He was pitching really well until then.
He'll probably get traded too, right? So,
and Clay Holmes is a good deal. If you don't have to give up a great deal for him in your contending team, he might have as much value to whoever gets him as Skubal would have. If I'm the Milwaukee Brewers, whatever I was going to give up for Skubal, I would give up for Clay Holmes because I really think Clay Holmes might be able to match whatever Skubal does the rest of the year.
If he's healthy, that's, One trade you didn't mention, by the way, is Lane Thomas going to the Braves, which I think is an interesting move. The Braves have a history of making these guys, these platoon players, very valuable down the stretch. And Lane Thomas can hit a little bit from the right side. He hits lefties very well. So that could be a huge move in the National League where the Braves are trying to keep up with the Dodgers. So.
Yeah, just a word of note, the Milwaukee Brewers have just taken over sole position, well, just for the moment, obviously, of the best record in the league.
Oh, I didn't look this morning. My bad.
Over the Dodgers. But, it's a pretty good race going on between those two. Other than that, let's get some training camp football. Good old Jack's favorite stuff, training camp.
Training camp.
And training camp. The Niners. I think, in essence, they're a mess right now. They're not getting off to a good start for training camp. They're getting all kinds of injuries. Kittle is still on a PUP. Purcell is out for the year now. They had to sign Deebo Samuels, who is probably
done
3/4 of himself, if anything, hopefully, for San Francisco's stake at least. Let's hope so. I know that's right, Danny. It's just I don't know what's going on with San Francisco. Their wide receiver room is really kind of messed up. We had this discussion yesterday. One of the days with Friday, me and James and Sonia. What do you think? San Francisco's projected to actually be competitive. I don't know about now, but what do you guys see for San
They did it with
Francisco?
smoke and mirrors last year, so maybe they can do it again. I don't have a lot of confidence they can. You also got the Shanahan thing over their heads, which becomes more
the majority
to me every day.
The majority of players and coaches seem like they're in ICU and hospice.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what to make of Pearsall. I mean, that injury, the same PCL injury he had last year in his knee, cost him 10 games, and now he's out for the season fully. That's been confirmed that he's out for the season. Christian McCaffrey, he's on and off every other year with injuries. We don't know about Trent. I'm not sure if any of you guys may know Trent Williams, if he's going to play or not. And of course, like you mentioned, Brian Kittle is out. And of course, the coach making bad decisions like he has been in Super Bowls. You know, maybe that's one of the reasons why they don't win any Super Bowls. I mean, Atlanta as well. I mean, I just think that, it's not a good situation for San Francisco as an organization right now, considering the injuries and everything else. You guys mentioned, like you said, they were on duct tape and termites holding hands last year, yet they still got to the playoffs. But it really showed when Fred Warner, he was out as well. I mean, I'm pretty sure he'll be back this year, but and Deebo Samuels, there's a picture of him that's floating around online that was discussed that he showed up out of shape, but that just brings about the light of the level of desperation that San Francisco has right now, that they were willing to sign him and bring him back on for 1 year, $7 million. I don't know. I had high hopes for them before the season, before all this stuff started coming up, to compete in their division, but I'm not so sure now. With this, it may be too much to try to too big of a hill to climb.
I mean, they're a little bit like baseball's Houston Astros. We've written the Astros off, it seems, the last few years. You know, their glory days are behind them. They had a great run, but they've never went away. And you look at the standings this morning, and the Astros in first place by a game and a half. We thought they were done early in the year. They were awful. It's finally over for them. And last year, the Niners surprised me. I'm a little reluctant to write them off for that reason. I didn't think they'd be as good as they were. And, you know, players injured, but they do get healthy. They do come back at various points. But you're right, James. The Niners are a mess. You look all over the place. And you wonder what Mike Evans is thinking. Yesterday when we had our show, one of you, either James or Brian, one of you commented the Buccaneers got rid of Mike Evans. No, they didn't get rid of Mike Evans. Mike Evans wanted to change the scenery. You know, he was pretty firm. He finally wanted to go elsewhere, not because he felt disrespected. He felt it was time for change, which is fine. All people entitled to have that, okay? But he went to the Niners. He's a veteran who still has something left. You would think he wanted to go to a Super Bowl contender, and Mike Evans was probably thinking the Niners were a Super Bowl contender. I wonder what he's thinking now. You get to training camp, and 9-8 would look great for the Niners this year. 9-8 and not make the playoffs. You'd think, wow, they did better than we thought. But guys are going to get healthy as we go along. Trent Williams is 37 years old. At some point, he's going to slow down. And you can't condemn him for getting Deebo Samuel. He's, for the most part, he's been a career 49er. He went to the Commanders. It didn't quite work out there. It's a question of coming back home, you know, where he belongs. They know how to utilize him. Obviously, Deebo Samuel's created good vibes with the Niners, because when a team comes back to one of their former players and brings them back, that means there were good vibes, you know, that the team had with them all along to welcome them back. But that division, let's be honest about it. The Rams, the Seahawks can, you know, keeping pace. That's a murderous division just because of that 1-2 punch. Guys, is there a 1-2 punch in any division in the NFL that comes close to the Rams Seahawks one 1-2 punch in the division. I don't see it.
Yeah,
I would have said
remain
the
to be seen.
AFC. Yeah, I would have said in the AFC the Bills and the Patriots. The West, the AFC West. I still think the
Broncos,
Chiefs.
Chargers.
No, not the Chargers.
Kansas City.
Kansas
man.
City. Kansas City and the Broncos. Yeah, I think the Broncos. That was a one-off for the Chiefs, man. I think they're just going to bounce back. All right.
We've got a lot of talking to do on that going forward.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just not. I think that the 1-2 punch in the NFC West is probably the most of the NFL right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm just saying if I had to look at two other teams that are maybe close to that, those are the teams that I would select. But I agree. I mean, it'd be a consensus to think that those two teams in the NFC West are probably the best.
And it's a beginning of the season. I mean, training camp is just starting. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that we're going to hit and miss on early. You never know. San Francisco, we didn't see San Francisco doing much last year, but look what happened.
They're well, Shanahan's playoff issues behind him. He's still a really good coach because anybody
without
gets
a
that
doubt.
team to where they got last year and put them in a position at least, and they beat the Eagles if I remember right. So they're pretty well coached to get through what they got through last year. So I wouldn't write them off yet.
It's a good coach, Shanahan. Let's make it sound like they're lacking in coaching. He's a real good coach.
No,
I just said
he's the real. Well, I guess it was probably in response to me what I was saying, but I'm going to say this: it was probably more a shot at his playoff failures, not as his regular season failures. Right. He's nowhere near. He's an excellent coach. He's an excellent coach. Yeah. And if he was a coach of New Orleans Saints, there's no way I want to get rid of him at all. That's when you have somebody at that level that brings perennial winning, at least the majority of your games. It's hard to find that. You definitely want to keep something like that.
As far as his playoff failures, I don't think he's ever lost to a team that's worse than him. He's losing to teams that are better than him. So there's that too.
Yeah, true.
Who? Russell Wilson. Who?
Soon.
Daniel says
he's gonna make a lot of money in the booth this year, so he's not worried about playing football.
Yeah,
good for him.
Russell Wilson, if he decided he wanted to continue, at best he could be a backup somewhere. I mean, he wasn't going to get. There was no logical way for Russell Wilson to revive his career as a starter. I mean, any backup could get an opportunity when the starter gets injured, play well, and you never know. I shouldn't say couldn't possibly revive his career, but logically speaking, he was given enough chances to revive his career, and it didn't quite work. I mean, you look at this. Look at the ultimate quarterback trying to revive his career right now. How hard it is. Or more than one guy, like a Carson Wentz, a Mitch Trubisky. Okay, we're looking at that. Your guy Will Levis, by the way, Keith, was in the news. He's claiming they're not 32 quarterbacks, meaning the amount of teams in the NFL who are better than him.
Thank you, Jack. I was going to get to that.
Right. I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. No, that's good.
Meaning that he should be a starter. Now, there's no way, and we talked about this competing for a job. There's no way Robert Saleh would say anyone is competing with Cam Ward. Not because Cam Ward is so good, because he's the golden boy, the number 1 overall pick in the draft a couple of years ago. You're not going to put him in a quarterback competition and risk diminishing him, even though Will Levis might still be considered a prospect, might possibly, okay? I don't think he is, but might. So now he's saying Saleh, well, he's going to get to compete with, who is it for the number 2 slot?
Mitch Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky,
I'm sorry. Mitch Trubisky, an old warhorse, the number 3 overall pick in the draft at one point in his career, drafted ahead of Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. So he's going to compete with Trubisky for the number 2 spot. Now, I can live with 2 guys competing for the number 2 spot a lot easier than I can for number 1. But is that a vote of confidence? Why doesn't Salah say, well, he'll get his chance to compete for the starting job, but Salah's smart, so he's not saying that.
Well, why would he? That's crazy. I mean, Will Levis never said he should be competing for the starting job in Tennessee. He just said there's not 32 quarterbacks better than me in the NFL. That's
I'm
what he
going
said.
to tell you this. I don't know how James feels about it, but because Keith is impartial. But James, if Will Levis, you know what he did in college, if he puts it all together as a pro, and it's possible he can, it is possible, he might actually be better than Cam Ward. I'm not saying he is. It's not far-fetched. You know, it's arguable if Will Levis puts it all together. Oh. Well, thank you for getting the book.
That's right. Let's change the subject there. Let's change it.
I got knocked out the way Mike thinks it.
Look, I'll entertain that question. No, there's no way. I mean, if he puts it all together, to me, he's not going to put it all together. Why? Because the ego is what's in the way. His ego starting from the draft and believing that you are better than what you are. I think you can be better, but if you don't think that in your head that you're not, that you have room to grow, I don't think he thinks he has room to grow. And I think that
that's
in this situation,
though, James, that's different. I agree with you that he needs to understand he has work to do. But if you don't have ego, you're not going to go anywhere.
No. You're right. I agree that everyone should have ego, but I just think, forget ego. I think delusion. I don't want to.
James, Keith Engel advocated so strongly for Will Levis for so long. He's still young. He was hurt last
He flashed. He's got some arm talent. I think he's got some arm talent. He could play. I saw him at Kentucky. I saw him in the SEC. I just think that there's things that he can work on, and he probably does not think that. And I think and like he just said, there's not 32 guys that are better than him. That statement right there alone, to me, tells me that he's not in the belief that he needs to. He's fighting for the second position. And he doesn't believe that he should be in that arena. He believes he should be starting somewhere. That's the problem.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I agree.
Let's knock down the wording
but
of how he put that, though. He said he's better than 32 quarterbacks. He didn't say he was better than 32 starting quarterbacks. He said he was better than 32 quarterbacks.
So
that could be. That's not what he meant. That's not what he meant. He meant he should be starting.
In a journalism business, then you're gonna have that little back door that's gonna open up. So I'm just saying.
Well, allegedly, he's saying that he's better than 32 starting quarterbacks
because he would consider himself a starting quarterback. I don't know.
It's not even a story if he's better than 32 quarterbacks in the NFL. I mean, I'm better than a couple of them.
Exactly. That is my point right there. There is nothing to say because he's better than 32 not starting quarterbacks, but 32 quarterbacks. That tells you right there. That tells you right there. If you said starting quarterbacks, then I would believe your confidence. But
my thing is he's potentially going to be a third string quarterback and he's yapping his mouth.
Yeah. He's buried.
What he said was there are not 32 better quarterbacks than me in the NFL. That means he's one of the top 32.
Well,
he means he thinks he can start.
Again, you didn't say top and you didn't say starter, so I'm just taking his words as he said.
Jack, you asked me a question. Would I take him? You did ask that question.
Would you? No, not exactly. Let me put it another way. If you're the Arizona Cardinals and that's your team, you know, why you're wasting time with Jacoby Brissett? And now 100%. Jacoby Brissett is a nice career backup at this point. He's the type of guy I'd like on my team as a backup. You know, he could come in, he could win, he could do things. He's not a long-term solution. We know that. So I would bring in Will Levis, and in a way, I would let him compete with Carson Beck because neither's a number one draft pick. You know, neither's a blue chip prospect per se. In that case, I would maybe let them compete. And you take a fly on them between Will Levis and Carson Beck. you might have your quarterback of the future if you're Arizona, but you don't have your quarterback of the future with Jacoby Brissett.
Okay, so to answer
They
that
should compete.
question, I would not take. Yes, they should compete. I would not take Will Levis in because of the baggage that comes along with him trying to compete. And Brissett, I know he just wanted a little bit more money. I think he understands that of everything you just said. I think he understands who he is and understands he's going to play right now until it's time to get that other quarterback in the position, which is Carson Beck. And I think Beck, obviously, I have a vote of confidence in Beck. I think he will eventually be, probably this year, he may be the starter and playing some games.
Yeah.
Well, all I can say is I get nervous when Jack says my full name. I get really nervous.
Well, Keith gets a little antsy with the quarterback position because he had a nice thing going with New England when Brian Hoyer was the backup, and he had contempt for Brian Hoyer.
I was going to say that his name, actually, when you brought up Russell Wilson being a backup, you know he can't carry a clipboard as well as Brian Hoyer can carry a clipboard. So.
Brian Hoyer actually started at Cleveland for a little while. People forget that.
Didn't he also play in Houston too?
He played a lot of places, Hoyer.
A lot of places, yeah. He actually has some good moments. He's a journeyman. I mean, you have to give him that his props for that.
No, but just very quickly, there are not many starting positions available in the NFL. For the most part, teams have their starters. And next season, we're getting a nice quarterback crop coming out of college that are going to fill up the few vacancies. So there are not many opportunities. It's hard to break through as a starter. That's why you kind of wondered with Baker Mayfield, even if he has an okay year, where's he going to go next year? I mean, no one's going to lay out big money to make him a quarterback of their future.
I was wondering when someone's going to bring up Mayo.
Okay, so you don't like mayo in your coffee. I mean, hopefully nobody does, but I love it on the Philly cheesesteak.
But Levis does.
I mean, yeah.
You know, he does those. He was doing those Hellman's commercials for a while.
Yeah.
But teams can destroy a quarterback with potential. I mean, look at the Lions with Hendon Hooker.
Well, not Hendon Hooker. Let's get away from that. There's other quarterbacks that they have destroyed. Hendon Hooker's not one of them. Okay. They destroyed Joey Harrington's career, as far as I'm concerned, because he was a really good quarterback coming out of Oregon. So that's one of their quarterbacks that they destroyed. But they have a habit of doing that once in a while. Back in the day,
being a Jet fan,
Andre Ware,
that's another one.
Being a Jet fan, Jack knows all about teams destroying quarterbacks. So
I'm a big believer you take a flyer on certain guys, like the Jets are doing with Cade Klubnik. And, when I say a flyer, the only way if I'm the Jets, I don't draft a quarterback next year, Cade Klubnik has to be outstanding. And you have to be now fully committed to him as your future quarterback. If he'll get his opportunity to get in at some point this year. And if he's like he was at Clemson the year before last, you might think, wow, this guy really does have it. Okay, that would be the only way. I mean, these quarterbacks tend to tease you, a lot of them at times. They look good a few games. It, James, with New Orleans Saints, I mean, even a guy like Spencer Rattler. I mean, he's got ability. Maybe he could be a starting quarterback in the league, but you can't afford to find out. You're not going to invest the season in him. So you keep him on the roster. Look, guys do revive their careers. Look at Geno Smith. He had some good years at Seattle. Guys revive their careers at times. I mean, Manziel did it. Even Sam Darnold did it. I mean, that's the ultimate reviving of a career.
Where did Manziel do it?
I think he mistakenly said that.
The Ohio Penal League? I don't know where he revived his career.
Well, what?
You said Manziel in the midst of that. Yeah.
Manziel, had he been given a full chance and had he been completely focused, Manziel could have been a starting quarterback in the league. I gotta believe it. He had talent. He really did.
Nah, I'm not so sure.
That was his own doing. I think he had plenty of chances to do that. I think
Yeah,
he
it was his own
self-destructed
doing.
himself. Yeah.
Yeah, but he
So
could
I
have.
can't say he could. Yeah, you're right. He could have.
But
That's
right
shut
where
himself
now,
in the
ego got
foot.
in the way.
and
James,
James
that's an ego issue right there, Manziel.
James could talk
Yes,
about
without a doubt.
with the Saints now. We have a number of quarterbacks in the league. There's not enough of a body of work. We have so many one-year wonders. And Schluck, however you say his name with the Saints, we don't know
Shuck.
how good he's really going to be. The
Well, he's not
Giants-
schluck, sir. He's shuck.
Shuck.
Yeah.
Shucks. Okay, I'll say shucks for him.
You,
But
well,
we
you
don't
such
know
a
how good
schluck.
he's gonna be. The Giants are building around Jackson Dart. Who the heck is Jackson Dart? I mean, he's not. How good is he really? We don't know. I'm not saying.
Well, where's Mac?
Whoa,
Linda, if you're watching out there, don't throw any
We'll
shots.
find out. We'll find out this season. We will
We'll
find out this
but
season.
we don't know. And look at all the quarterbacks who've had great 1 years. I mean,
Can I-
Jaden Daniels, I think he's going to be pretty good, but it's 1 year. CJ Stroud.
Wait a minute. Explain to me where the Giants have actually built around Jackson Dart. He's got very little talent around him on offense, except for Neighbors, who's hurt. Where's the talent they built around him?
They've done some things this year. They've done some things, but I agree with you. Last year, no.
Offensively, really?
Yeah,
There's
they have
nobody
this-
there.
Okay.
This year, this year they haven't played yet. They haven't played yet. This year they've improved their wide receiver core, and
that room is pretty weak, by the way, especially if Neighbors is hurt. Do you think
Yeah.
Odell Beckham is an upgrade over what they had last year?
No.
I mean, I think in the draft and also some of the guys they brought in. I mean, I some of the guys are weak, but I think Neighbors is going to be back, so I think that's going to help. He'll be back.
And I like Dart. I think Dart's going to be a player, but I don't think
He
they've
might
done him a lot of
be,
favors on
He
offense.
might be. But John Harbaugh, an established coach, an elite coach, when he interviewed for the Giant job, if he said, I'm not sure I want Jackson Dart as my quarterback, he wasn't going to get the job. What,
Right,
what did
exactly.
I say wrong, Linda? All I did was
You're talking about the Giants.
Jackson Dart. I mean, I love Mac, but he thought Zappi was going to be an outstanding quarterback, and now
Oh,
he's the
geez,
backup.
don't
for my
remind me.
Jets.
Don't remind me. Zappy and Joe Milton were his boys. Jesus, good grief.
Yeah, no, but Mac had an eye for talent. He did have an eye for college quarterbacks coming out. He really
Not
did.
Joe Milton.
I
He was
will.
blowing-
Yeah, that's funny. He's got arm strength. That's about it. No accuracy in Joe Milton. I will say this between regards. You brought up Tyler Shuck. Tyler Shuck played with when Chris Olave went out and Devon Bailey went out. This guys was off the streets that he was playing with, and he still was lighting it up. So
Yeah,
a lot of times you look at it when quarterbacks can do that with menial talent, you know that when they get talent around him, it's about to be on. Jackson Dart, I didn't see that much from him with the talent that the lack of talent, the mediocre talent, and so I think he's streaky. I always thought he was a streaky quarterback. He can get hot, and then he's not so hot. And then he's not consistent. And then of course he's doing the things he thought he can do like he was in college, was running the ball and taking on those concussions. So hopefully he's improved in that regard. I think he's going to be good. I agree with you. I think
but these guys are being made franchise quarterbacks without enough of a body of work in college and the pros. We're just going off certain potential we think they have. Because Jackson Dart has a good set of legs. He's mobile. He can move around, He takes too many hits. He doesn't know when to get down. But
Anthony Richardson's a good point of that, too.
Anthony Richardson was drafted number 4 overall in the draft by the Colts based on his potential. They were scared he was going to turn out to be a great player, and they drafted because they were scared of what he might become, and they didn't want to bypass him.
We didn't just compare Jackson Dart to Anthony Richardson, did we?
In the beginning, that was the comparison. In the beginning,
Anthony Richardson barely had any starting time in college. I think he started 1 year. That was it.
Playing high school barely.
Yeah.
Well, Sam Darnold hardly played in college, it seemed. Didn't play a lot.
Well, he came out early, but he played a lot. He played an entire season, a season and a half anyway with USC. Yeah, he came
And
out
Anthony
early. That's the only
Richardson
reason.
was injury prone
Richardson was hurt.
in college too.
Darnold's never hurt in college.
I
And
would say
Richardson was hurt in high school too.
Sony they need more than 2. I think they need about 3 to get.
Well,
NFL
there'll be a job opening with the Steelers for quarterback next season. That's going to be a
with
prime
Aaron Rodgers,
place.
Rick Eason's
Will Levis.
retirement.
Yeah.
Levis.
Oh, key.
I'm not giving up on the boy. I'm not giving up on him.
Training camp injuries have been something of the newsworthy source. Rookie receiver Cyrus Allen of the Chiefs was carted off the field after a collision with teammate Care Elam, but after tests were concluded, it revealed a slim shin bruise, so he's good to go. I don't know this is before these guys get in the pads and are having all these injuries. I don't know. Is this alarming to you guys that there's so many injuries happening right now without even people being in pads?
There is a lot.
The past few years has been like that, and I mean, you got to wonder what's going on because it seems to be Baker to Pitt.
Yeah, I like that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. But yeah, I mean, C.J. Gardner-Johnson had an ankle injury. He was carted off.
Yeah.
So it's just
he suffered a lower calf injury, so he got safe on that one too. So he's okay. We got Cooper Rush coming to Atlanta. We've been talking about this for the last couple of days. Tua is working on his injury, and Michael Penix still hasn't been cleared for activities yet, full activities. So we got him coming in there. That's just a mess too. That's another quarterback mess.
That is. Yeah. Cooper Rush might be the best third string quarterback in the NFL. We never discussed that. Who's the best third string quarterback? But that's going to be another potential.
Well, we got 17 minutes left today, Jack, to discuss it.
Yeah, never mind. You're right, Keith. Better quiet down.
No, you were going good there, Jack. But
Atlanta's just repetitious, with these quarterback battles. You have no idea what's going to happen at Atlanta this season, whether one quarterback is going to play well out of the two. I'm not going to conclude Rush in that, even though you never know between Penix and Tua.
Yeah, I mean, Tua is probably slated to start because of his experience and the fact that, he's got that veteran leadership. But really, it's a toss in the air. It's like a big question mark. I mean, you can't really pencil in anybody in that position right now. Even now, Cooper Rush is in a hunt. So you never know what's going to happen with this thing. I don't understand Atlanta and their whole building process as far as I can say. I feel that if you're a team, you start with your quarterback and you work your way around stuff. I don't. They're not doing that.
Well, they did. They brought in Kirk Cousins and then they drafted a quarterback.
Yeah,
the decision making in the Braves is pretty questionable. But I'll say this: there's no love lost, being that I'm a fan of New Orleans Saints within a division rival. Hey, have at it if you're going to just waste your first round talents that are on the field and not utilize them to the best of their ability and win divisions and potential championships. Hey, good luck with that.
Yeah, as far as training for Milroe, I don't know about that, David.
Well, Milroe's a backup at Seattle. I mean, Milroe is never going to start. I mean, Seattle was smart. Milroe is a starting caliber NFL quarterback. They put him in packages or whatever. It's backup there. And Seattle won the Super Bowl. They did things the smart way.
Well, how do you think he would fare if Darnold went down? How do you think he would fare?
He's with an obviously good team, and they have Walker last year. They had a running game. It wouldn't have been a disaster. He wouldn't have been nearly as good as, Darnold.
Well, my question is, do you think he could have done what Malik Willis did in Green Bay with a good supporting cast?
Malik Willis has a strong arm. I mean, Milroe's more of a runner, different style. Coming out of Alabama, I wasn't impressed with Milroe. I just wasn't. That's why he lasted a while in the draft.
For sure. Yeah, I thought I was surprised he was drafting the third. I thought he'd probably go
Yeah.
later than that.
The more important question in that sentence should have been more like, would have Melville, if he had to start for Sam Darnold, would have got to the they went to the
No.
Super Bowl?
I don't think so. I don't think they would have beaten the Rams in that intense playoff game. Let's put it that way. If Milroe was the QB.
I agree with that.
100%.
In other injury news that we have, Ali McNeil, Lions defensive tackle, left Friday's practice with a neck injury, suffering during a 11-on-11 drill. So that's never good. And Aleem's got to get himself back into the lineup again. I don't know what's going on with him, but he needs to get himself together. Although the Lions did sign LSU standout and former Buccaneer linebacker Devin White, gave him a contract for a year, probably in lieu of the fact our rookie linebacker Jimmy Roeder is going to be out a while with injury. But I like the signing. I hope he starts, to tell you the truth. I would really like Devin White. I thought we should have went after him last year when he was a free agent. So
I've always been disappointed with Devin White in regards to how he's highly touted, and for whatever reason, teams don't keep him long. It just he ends up having to move on. But he had 174 tackles last year with the Raiders. I mean, I'm pretty sure anybody's gonna have a whole bunch of tackles with a poor defense like that, and everybody's running through you. But if you run a 4.3 and a 40, you're gonna always have a job as a linebacker. You're gonna always have a job in the NFL. So kudos to him and kudos to the Lions. No, he's a big dude. He's a big dude.
He's only like 6 foot, isn't he?
Yeah, somewhere around 6 foot, 6'1", but and he's not good in coverage as well. So yeah.
Well, that's a problem in the NFL today.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they got Campbell. He's a very good coverage linebacker. I mean, they got people that are going to be able to do those. I don't think they got Devin White for that purpose. They need a pass rusher. They really need to get to the quarterback. The whole front seven needs to get to the quarterback, because with the secondary the way it is right now. And I know the first game that the Lions are playing are against James's Saints, and I know Shook and Kellen Moore are rubbing their hands right now looking at that secondary, because they're like, throwing bombs on them. But you know,
I think James is getting a little too carried away with Kellen Moore. A little too carried away. I mean, he's just another guy, just another coach, and James is going all over saying, "Oh, we got one of the best young coaches in the NFL." James, I hate to let you in for this disappointment now, but temper your expectations. He's just another guy. He might not even be the coach of the Saints a couple of years from now. I mean,
in that division, he might be a great coach.
Wait and see. They won some games at the end of the year. The Saints, they had a good year last year, as far as I'm concerned. They were a lot better than I thought they'd be. What were they, 7-10? I thought they'd be like 2-15.
6-11. 6-11. Yeah.
6-11. Then regardless, I think they have a legitimate shot at winning the division this year. Okay, but let's hold off on Kellen Moore, for now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm getting carried away on my J train thought process. I'm going to say I'm not going to not get carried away. I see talent where it is, and I understand what it is. And I think Kellen Moore won a Super Bowl as an offensive coordinator, I think, and everybody started as an offensive coordinator. The guy you just said, Kyle Shanahan, he was an offensive coordinator that couldn't win a Super Bowl, 28-3. Sean Payton was the offensive coordinator. These guys, I see the same ability in this guy. And now he has his quarterback. I think he has his quarterback. And they provided talent around. They didn't just say, "Hey, I'm going to go out here and do this." They went on in the free agency, David Edwards, to shore up their offensive line, to help with the guys they've already drafted. They got backup. They got a running back to go with Alvin Kamara. They got 2 star quality running backs in the backfield, and they drafted a wide receiver that's probably the best wide receiver in the draft class this year, in Jordan Tyson. That is a mismatch for everybody. With Olave on the other side, man, come on. And you're going to have 3 tight ends. You drafted a tight end that looks good in college. You also have one that you got in Fant, and you have one that had his best season under Kellen Moore in the guy that we already had in Juwan Johnson, undrafted, by the way, as a wide receiver.
Now you're talking, James. You talk about the Giants improving their offensive firepower. The Saints improved their offensive power around Shough a lot. That's how you build around a quarterback. What the
Exactly. And Jack, we're going to get you a Michael Jackson shirt that says "Want to be starting something" because that's what you are.
No, he needs to get one that says. He needs to get one that says "Beat it." He needs to get one that says "Beat it." All right, get out of here.
Let's not get carried away. Yeah, a lot of times you get these coaches. You're speaking of the Jets. Eric Mangini comes to the Jets. Oh, what a great coach. He's going to be there for years. Look what he's done. You point to this and that, and a couple of years later, he's gone.
I don't think it's fair to compare the Jets to any other organization in the NFL.
Maybe the Lions.
We're talking about the NFL here, Jack. We're talking about the NFL, not the Jets.
Oh,
You know, they only put them in the same sentence. And to answer your question, Damian, no, those are two different situations. The Barry never held out. He never was a holdout. He just played, and that's all Barry did. That's what made him one of the greatest players too, because he just played, shut up and just played. Gibbs,
he's not holding out, is he?
no, who Gibbs?
He's not
Yeah,
holding out.
He's holding in. He's holding in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is
He's
Bijan
at training
Robinson.
camp, but he's not practicing. They're not practicing,
Oh,
right?
So is
I got
Bijan
you.
Robinson.
All right.
But, you know, the problem is, and I have to side with Keith on this whole situation because I'm getting sick of players signing their 5th-year extension, but then you're going to hold out when you're 2 years away from your contract to be played out. That's just ridiculous. Come on. And I don't, you know, these agents in their ear got to stop this stuff. Play your at least play another year and then get goofy. But don't sit there in 2 years.
You don't have to use this every time. Don't
Well,
sign.
you have to use it, Keith. You have to use it. The CBA pretty much requires somebody else is going to get your spot, and it's going to be hard. And I just don't understand how there can't be renegotiations when you've outlived or outplayed your current contract in regards to how everyone else is playing around you.
No,
It's a two-way situation.
I agree. The only time I would not renegotiate but work something out, an extension to make it fair, is if the contract is outrageously terrible. Then I would do it. If a team has they made a good deal with you and it's not the greatest deal, but at the time you signed it, it was a good deal for you. You have to know you outplayed it. I mean, we've talked about.
But these are guys on rookie contracts. These are guys that we're talking, that are on rookie contracts.
No. I see your point. I agree with you, James. Like in the case with Scottie Pippen with the Bulls, you don't make him play 4 more years and be the 8th and 9th highest paid player on the Bulls. You just don't do that. Keith is a believer. We argued on our show when Magic Johnson signed a $25 million contract, $1 million a year. And other guys are getting paid 30, 40 million.
35 years ago.
Says you have to honor that contract for the rest of your career. You have and then Kate says, what happens if you sign a 40-year contract? No one signs a 40-year contract.
But these ain't 40-year contracts, Jack. These are rookie contracts.
I use an extreme example. Let me ask you a question again.
I agree
once again, you sign a 12-year contract for $300 million and you get hurt after year 2. You going to give the money back? No, you're not.
No, wait, $300 million. But that's $25 million a year. That's competitive already. I'm okay with that.
Whatever the number is, Jack, the number's irrelevant. You signed a contract. Are you going to give the money back if you can't fulfill your contract? No, you're not.
So wait a second. So if the Saints see Tyler Shough now, and they sign Tyler Shough to a 10-year, $30 million contract, $3 million a year, and how do you say his name?
You're right. It's Tyler Shough.
And Shough turns out, which he might be possibly one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. You're going to make him play for $3 million a year the next 10 years. Well, you sign a contract. Well, the other elite guys are getting $60 million a year. You're going to make him play out the next 7 years of his contract at $3 million a year.
Jack, that's irrelevant because those are rookie contracts to working on. I can understand your argument for the fact that they re-sign him. That's a different thing. But
That's
you're
what
working
I
on a
mean.
rookie
Okay.
contract. But these guys they signed a 5th-year extension. If you're going to sit out and hold out, don't sign your 5th-year extension. That's goofy, to quote James.
No, my
Come
thing
on, James,
is,
that's goofy.
I agree with you, except that the money is not guaranteed. I can't get on a guy to play because if he gets injured, he doesn't get a penny. They could cut him.
Not
Don't
if it's
sign
guaranteed.
a 5th-year extension then. That's all I'm
The
saying.
team
Bijan
should
and
just
Gibbs.
guarantee the money. Guarantee the money. It's still a team-friendly deal.
I'm only talking about guaranteed contracts, by the way. I'm not talking about teams that don't have to pay out.
If they sign the 5th year and they get hurt, they still get paid that money.
Depends on the contract, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess the question, I mean, for context, like what Jack is saying, would they get that money if they were to get hurt? Would they get the 5th year guarantee money? I don't know. I don't.
They don't
Again,
get it.
I think it's a
don't
case by
blame them
case
for
basis.
holding out. I don't blame any player for holding out if money isn't guaranteed. The money's not guaranteed. I'm all for the holdout.
I've only talked about guaranteed contracts when I've had this conversation or argument, however you want to classify it.
Vita Vea.
Only guaranteed money.
Wait. Vita Vea's on the Buccaneers. He has 1 year left on his contract. He's going to probably be a Hall of Fame. I think he will be at least. That's debatable, though. Okay, $17 million left. He's being underpaid at $17 million a year.
Yeah, most definitely.
18 guys are getting paid higher than him.
I think normally he absolutely should play and honor that contract. $17 million is still significant, even though it's vastly underpaid. But none of the money is guaranteed on that $17 million. So I support his holdout. If I'm the Buccaneers,
it's not guaranteed.
No, none of it. None of it.
Well, that's and that is a specific case where 1 year I can understand that. And Vita Vea is being underpaid. He is. I mean, that's an agreement throughout the whole league. He's going to go get, if he goes somewhere, they're going to pay him what he wants. But this is a case of 2 rookies. Well, they're not rookies anymore, but 2 guys that are on their rookie contract that signed their 5th-year extension. Stop signing 5th-year extensions if you're going to hold out. If you know that's going to happen, don't sign it because you're still 1 year. Play that 1 year then, and then hold out. I can understand.
In the regards to Vita Vea, I will say this for the side of the team. He's at the shelf life. He's already slightly there or a little bit past for guys his size that play DT that are explosive. So, and I can see they're already there. Probably don't want to pay him any more money, or just like they probably offered him something probably wasn't what he wanted. And but yeah, I can see that from the side of the organization. Yeah, he's at his shelf life right there at 31.
Well, there's a lot of DTs that are at their shelf life that are getting paid more than he is. So
yeah,
that's the other side you have to look at.
There's only 4 that are older than him. There's only 4 that are older than him out of 18.
Yeah,
and one of them is Cam Hayward, but Cam Hayward is playing lights out though.
Yeah,
I think there's a bit of an anomaly.
Lights out, so you ain't gonna run up the middle on Vita Vea. He's a guy that changes that whole defense of how all the offense of other teams where they run, where the pass protection goes to, because that dude is a monster. He's probably not as explosive as Aaron Donald was, but he's pretty much. I would say he's a top 5 in that defense.
No doubt. I've seen him
shelf life.
Twice a year.
His shelf life.
Leave Jack alone. Leave him alone.
That's
anyway,
not cool.
Jack is
none of my teams are doing well, so yeah.
All right, so we're going to conclude this show because we got to get to Keith's show, Stream of Consciousness, next. Everybody have a great Sunday. We will see you next Sunday at 8 a.m. Peace, everybody.
See you, gents.